Thank you for plugging into this Family Life News podcast, streaming issues-driven, family-focused news.
And welcome back to another edition of Issues in Education. Mondays during the Noon Report, we spotlight the issues impacting our public schools with Dr. Ralph Kerr at the Teaching and Learning Institute in Houghton, New York. Ralph, welcome back to the program, sir. We have a lot to get through today, a ton of stuff. We're going to try to do it in 5 minutes or less. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Clock on me.
All right. Clock is ticking. Start with the mask mandate. So much debate, so much legal maneuvering going on in New York on this, and there's challenges and counter challenges. So the big question is, what does this mean for schools, Ralph?
Well, it means confusion, uncertainty, anger, parents in revolt, administrators not knowing where to turn for an answer, and just total confusion. It's just pathetic, Bob. It really is.
Yeah. Well, COVID, we hear is the numbers are going in the right direction. The governor continues to talk about the trajectory. So, knock on wood, if we're going in the right direction, how much longer do you think that the masks will be on in school?
Well, I'm hoping that over the next few weeks, the mandate will go away. But I do think that they'll, and probably should be, at least an option of wearing a mask in school through at least the end of the school year. I would support that.
One other COVID item, and then we'll move on. The New York State Board of Regents has approved legislation that will allow school nurses to administer the shot. That takes effect March 2nd. Your reaction?
I'm really opposed to that. I think schools were originally created to provide education, and over the years they've become a food service provider, a mental health provider, a social work providing agency, and to say to the school nurses who were never hired for that purpose, oh, and by the way, now we want you to administer COVID shots, and they'd have to have all the sign-off, hopefully, from the parents and all that. I just think it's a bad thing.
Yeah, you better get parents' permission first. That could be problematic if that doesn't happen. In Buffalo, New York, this is kind of interesting. The state's second largest school district, such a problem. You know, we've been talking about the bus driver shortage for so long. They're floating the possibility of actually paying parents to transport their own kids to school. Where do I sign up for that, Ralph? I'd like to get paid to do that. Is it that bad that's where we've gone with this?
Well, obviously it's due to the bus driver shortage, but I think that's a really bad precedent to start. The liability issues, it could be prejudicial because some parents don't have a car. It's just a floating idea, and I think the air ought to just come out of that real quick.
Yeah, again, just a proposal, but very interesting that's how bad it's gotten that we're having those kinds of conversations. Well, here's a really important conversation, Ralph. Colleges all over this country have lost about 1 million students since the start of the pandemic. What's driving the trend? Do you think it's a momentary blip, or is this a new normal in higher education?
No, the loss of students to higher ed is not a blip. It is the new normal. I think there are several factors involved in it. One is online courses is really taking a bite into residential college situations. There's been a realization based on people trying to get a plumber or electrician to do any work that there's some really good money to be made as a tradesperson. And so more and more students in high school are going to the vocational centers at BOCES to take up those trades. And I think that's a really good thing.
And then finally, we would be remiss, Ralph, if we didn't bring up the new look SAT. This isn't going to go into effect for a couple years now, but it's going to undergo some major changes here. What's going on?
Well, it is going to make a big difference. Many colleges are now making the SAT and the ACT optional as part of the college application. So I think this is kind of a reaction to that.
Yeah.
The test is now going to be online only, so there are more dates and times available. But if, again, some people are saying that's prejudicial towards people that don't have ready access to the Internet, it's going to be 2 hours instead of 3. There'll be more time per question. There's a possibility to go back and relook at the questions. During the testing of it, students said that it was less stressful because there was less questions and because it was online, which many of them are very comfortable with. But it's a shakeup that's coming, part of our time. I'm not sure what the end result is going to be, however.
Yeah, I'll never forget my SAT. I took it the morning after a triple overtime soccer game. No lie. 8 o'clock in the morning. I think I got like 2 hours of sleep. So anyway, I digress. But hey,
that just shows how brilliant you are.
You said it, Ralph. Hey, so much to talk about. Hey, you have a wonderful website where folks can go. What is the Teaching and Learning Institute? Why do you exist? Ralph, where can folks go find out more?
Yeah, they can simply go to yrun.org, yrun.org.